This is The Big Breakdown, a long look back at some of the biggest stories we're covering for you at the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. This is Hidden Killers Live with Tony Bruschi, Stacey Cole, and Todd Michaels.
Hi. I guess the intro didn't work, but hi.
Oh, we saw it. I saw it.
You saw the whole thing? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I saw like 2 seconds of it. It said, "This is," and then it did the scrolling circle on my end. But I'm glad we're all here today. Welcome to the program, Hidden Killers Live, for this Tuesday, 2025. Wow, we're almost 1 month away from Halloween. Who's excited for that?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about, isn't it?
Is it acceptable to get pumpkins at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Complete. We're going to a pumpkin patch this weekend. Yeah. I like to go to the pumpkin patches at the first weekend or the end of September because it ain't too busy yet. And you can kind of enjoy everything without, all the children, running around and ruining it for us adults who like to go to the pumpkin patch.
So is that girlfriend things that you're doing, or is that going to be with Harper? Or
all of the above, actually. Me and Harper go every year regardless. But my girlfriend and daughter are coming this weekend. And we're also making pasta sauce on Saturday as well. We've been collecting our tomatoes throughout the summer. So we're going to do that on Saturday, because secretly, you did not know this, I'm actually the pioneer woman.
I know you are. No, I've known this a long time.
A lot of people had no idea. They thought that the pioneer woman was this different person. It's me. It's a wig. It's a big Walmart brand. It's all a farce. I know. Blew your mind. But so that's so I'll have a lot of like red liquid all over my kitchen this weekend. So people will be
pictures.
Like,
that's
murder
for the brand
or pasta sauce.
I like the fact that Stacey, you and I have to ask Tony if it's okay to start with the pumpkin stuff. Like he's the authority, and if we overstep our bounds on this, we're in trouble.
No, right. No pumpkins for you.
Not yet. You have to wait until the 15th.
I did put I have all these Halloween things, and I'm starting to put I have falled my house. I've not Halloweened my house yet, except for one thing. I had I went through a closet yesterday, and I found this animatronic doll that it's like a child doll, and it's this Halloween one, and it's creepy, and it makes weird and its head spins around, and I put it in one of our downstairs bathrooms. There's a shower, and nobody really uses this shower because it's just kind of an extra bathroom. It's for a bedroom. It's like the guest bathroom's bedroom bedroom's bathroom, and I put it in there because I'm like, well, where should I put this? And I'm like, I'm going to put it in the shower. So put it in the shower, and I was working on the computer yesterday, and then Harper goes in there. I didn't tell her about it. I kind of forgot that I even put it in there. And all of a sudden I hear this, because she's just going to the bathroom. Unless you're looking over, you're not really seeing it. And and this thing is motion activated.
Oh, God.
So all of a sudden this thing's like, and its head spins around, and then I hear Harper scream, and she's like, what the bleep, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep. It was, so happy Halloween, everyone. I'm going to keep putting them.
It must just be such an adventure in your home.
No kidding,
especially
right?
This time of year.
It's Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Tomorrow morning on the live, when we go live, you should be on with your phone, and you should take us on a tour of what that looks like.
I want to see the doll.
That's what I mean, right?
That'd be fun. I should do it when I have more stuff up, though. And this weekend I may put more up. I have more things to.
No, I think we need just an intro of the doll, and then you can move into the other phases. I need to see this doll.
The doll.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we could do that. We can go up there. Now, should we just take a tour of the bathroom? Or should I simulate as if I was sitting down in the bathroom what that experience would be like? It's like, okay, going number 2 right now, virtually. And now, whoa, there's the doll,
Does
full
the doll
experience.
have a name?
I have no name for it, no. creepy child doll. I don't know. That's
You can
all
do
I
a contest online, let people choose a name.
That would be
Name
fun.
the doll.
But so there's that sort of horror going on in my house right now. Anybody have any other Halloween stuff up yet? Anybody?
Nothing. Not me.
I bought little pumpkins the other day. I'm feeling a bit festive this year, I think. So
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Reclaiming some holidays. Life's good.
I like that. I like that idea. Yeah, no, I hear you, because that can get torn away when you're in bad relationships, and holidays can become traumatic and not looked forward to.
100%. So I'm looking forward to all of them this year. This is going to be great.
I wonder what the holidays are going to be like for the Adelsons this year. You think they visit?
A little slim, I'm thinking. There's not as many chairs at the table. The chairs will be there. The people won't.
Do you think they do like visits to Donna and Charlie on the holidays? Do they go in there? Can you?
Oh, we got to find that out. Is there a way to find out if they get any visitors?
Well, I think it depends on the inmate, I believe, and the jail. I mean, yes, you can have visitors, but there's it's like hospital. You know, there's hours, there's times. I don't know if you have to make an appointment. It probably depends on the level of the security. I don't know the answer to that question, honestly. But it's a good question.
We should ask Eric that. I bet he would know.
We should, when he'll be on next hour. We're going to be talking about the David case. In case you're like, David, it's that D4VD. So when you're like, what the hell is D4VD? Is that a new type of, is that like Ultra HD on a disc? No, it's the name of a singer that incidentally had a body of a 15-year-old in his trunk who went missing when she was 14. And it's a little weird. We're going to dive into that, and also new updates on the Gilgo Beach killer, the allegations against Rex Heuermann, and where all of that sits, because it's going to be one big trial. Judge has ruled that all of the cases, because I think it's been tried on like 7 or 8 of them or something, all of them are going to be combined into one giant trial. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is this justice for the victims to have this all into one? Is this more convenient for the court? Is this a boon to Rex? Is that we'll talk about all that with Eric Faddis next hour. He is a defense attorney and former prosecutor, so he can give us insight into all of that. But first, this morning, you're lucky. We have more audio and video to watch from Jeff Lacasse, Wendi Adelson's ex, from the Charlie Adelson trial. We got through a lot of it yesterday. We still got a good chunk to kind of work our way through as we continue to try and examine what was life like back in those days from someone who was dating Wendi when all of this went down. From all of it that we've seen thus far, you guys, we saw we've now watched his police interview. We've watched the testimony from the Megbana Sigfrido trial. We're now obviously watching this one. And we saw it during the Wendi trial, or during the Donna trial. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Right.
So we've seen a lot of the same things. I mean, there has been repetition, obviously, but I feel like every time he talks, he kind of paints the picture with more strokes, which anyone would do in a story. Not that he's adding things to it, like making it additional things up or anything, but anytime you retell a story, sometimes, I didn't think of it this way. I didn't think of it that way. You add new things to it from perspective. What's been standing out to you guys now that we've watched literally hours of Jeff?
I always like to get into the psyche of people, and I want to know if, and we'll never know this, I don't think, but I want to know if he's had to do some trauma healing from this relationship.
I would imagine.
Yeah. I think it was manipulative, and I think it damaged him a little bit. I know it would me if I were in a relationship like that, where it's just, a constant chipping away, and there's always a game being played is what it feels like. So I guess I want to know what is he doing after the show?
I would hope getting some therapy or doing some self-reflection, maybe reading a book or two on the topic. or 3 or 50. I mean, that's what I did after I got out of a real shitty relationship that was with a cluster of B personality disorder types. Because and I just started a new book actually today, and I love getting into these because it really helps just analyzing the individuals on the show. It certainly, I feel like I can go back and relate to some of these things, and it's healing in a way. But at the same point, I like trying to understand this stuff so we can talk about it, and other people out there who may be going through it can go, oh, I'm not alone. There's a new one. I just started this traumatic cognitive dissonance. And I think it's an interesting concept. I just started getting into it. It's by a psychologist, Peter Salerno. And it's talking about, from a survivor standpoint, someone who's gone through that and trying to figure out what's going on. And we all know what cognitive dissonance is. Traumatic cognitive dissonance is focusing on all of the crazy making that happened in that relationship and how you're trying to put life back together on the other side, but in a healthy way. Because we all kind of compartmentalize things. That's where we get cognitive dissonance going on. And if we're not truly dealing with it, it can still continue to traumatize us over and over and over and over. This is more about healing from that, so we don't have such cognitive dissonance from it. I would hope that maybe he's doing some examining on that area, because I'd imagine there's a lot to unpack. It feels like it's a therapy. Here's what I've recognized. Every time he's talking, it sounds like he's having a therapy session. Have you noticed that?
Yep, and that's kind of where I originated my feeling from, is that it feels like he's letting this emotional garbage out of his body, that it's just been festering and it's just oozing out of his pores now, and he can't wait to fucking tell this story.
Yeah.
That's what I get from him.
Todd?
For me, it's the going back part. You mentioned, Tony, how like every time he's on the stand, he paints that picture. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously this testimony was how long ago, right? Quite a while. Mm-hmm. But to go back and listen to it again, because some of the same stories were told in Donna's trial. But a little bit differently, maybe not with the same brushstrokes as it was told here. So to get that additional information this time around, I'm really enjoying going back over this stuff.
It's fascinating. And some of this testimony that we're looking at goes way back. I mean, the trials, the initial police interview goes more than a decade back, but some of these trials go 3, 4, 5 years back. And when we watched him in the Donna Adelson trial, what I feel about Jeff, and this is just my take on him, I could be completely off. Maybe he's more healed, but it still feels very raw.
Yeah.
I feel like when he's talking about it, he's talking about it from a very raw place. And so I don't know if that's because there hasn't been a lot of healing, because he has kind of compartmentalized it over here, and because it's a lot to understand and try to deal with. But it just feels very fresh, very raw. I think it's good for the case because it plays to the jury, and they can really see the damage that this family has done, not only to their own family and to their children, obviously to Dan Markel and that all of his family and the kids, but to all of those that they touched. Anybody in the circle of these people have had just trauma, just the floodgates, just overwhelming them.
I also noticed, Tony, and we all look different than we did 10 years ago, right?
Yeah,
we've all aged. But I see pictures of him now, and then you look at this. Mm-hmm. He looks a little rough right now. When I'm doing some of the artwork for some of the videos and stuff that we do, when I'm looking up pictures of him, images of him, he looks like he's had a little rough go. And I think it's because probably, always having to bring this up, always having to testify, still probably telling this story, not only in court, but other places as well. I feel bad for the guy.
Well, you can't get any relief from it. It just never stops. And when we experience a really shitty relationship, there is always a part where it's just eating at you and eating. And you can try to heal from it, but I think it just always sits there. And especially if it keeps coming back up, if you don't have a chance to have any closure, and this man does not, because it just keeps coming back with every trial, he's not getting that closure his body desperately needs.
No, everything was on the term of Wendi, and that's the thing. And as much as we're like we all seek closure and to wrap things up in a nice bow and walk away and okay, it's done. You go your way, I'm gonna go mine. That's not obviously how it works most of the time. And everything in this relationship obviously was on Wendy's terms, all the way to what it seems like trying to set him up for this idea that he may have killed Danny Markel. Where were you at this time? Where are you going to be? I saw an interesting comment yesterday, too, after what we were talking about, because, Todd, you made a really good point yesterday about the connection there, with the TV, and we were talking about the calling him daddy, Wendi asking her kids allegedly to call Jeff daddy. Was Wendi trying to keep him in the picture longer than he stayed? In her own weird way, where she doesn't, because obviously they broke up, he went away. But Wendi, it seems like the whole relationship with Jeff, from what we're understanding, was very much up and down, up and down. Wendy's hot or cold. There's not really an in-between, it seems like. Do you think she was trying to keep that relationship going beyond the murder so that it would be an easier pin on Jeff? Because it doesn't make a ton of sense, honestly, that they're broken up, they're not seeing each other, and then the murder takes place. If they were going to try and use him as an alibi, it's like, you're broken up. Why would he have any motivation to go kill your ex? That part is weird to me, but it feels like it's something that maybe Wendi screwed up. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thought.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it is an interesting thought, and I had not thought about that till you just brought it up. Yeah. Why would you, if he's not around, if you've broken up with him, he would have no reason to be upset with Dan anymore. Yeah. So why would he be the one to kill Dan?
Yeah.
Unless they paint him as vindictive and holding grudges that, people get fired from jobs and, 8 years later they come back and shoot the workplace up. It's like, sure. What? What happened to you that 8 years later you go and do this?
Mental note, Tony, Stacy can never be fired. I'm just
good thing we all work in different cities.
Yeah, but I'm really close. I'm not that far.
That's
couple
true.
Hours away, and
yeah, look out, Todd. Yeah, well, I'm loose cannon.
If I find out something, I'll give you a heads up. She's loose. She's on her way. They found dead cats, and when that happens, it's the end. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. No, people before cats would go. I would spare the cats. We know this.
The cats,
you guys know this about me. Come on.
That's true. That's true. It's just a weird thing to think of, and I'm sure if you're Jeff, this stuff is still simmering through your mind because there is no answer to any of it. None of it makes any logical sense. None of it ever will make any logical sense. And the people, Wendi, Donna, all of them who basically, doled out this narcissistic way of handling a relationship, a manipulative way of handling a relationship, to them, it's, well, this is how it is. I'll do what I'm going to do. That doesn't, the ability to give a shit about someone else's feelings, to empathize, is just vacant. It's clearly in Donna, clearly in Charlie. I would obviously, I should say, Wendi obviously maintains her innocence. But I would say from what the observations we have made on Wendi, there ain't a lot of empathy there either. Or it's very, very low.
We also got a cool note yesterday from somebody, a message, and it was, and the kids, and the message was, and the kids are still with Wendi.
Yeah.
I know she hasn't been charged. There's none of that, but how old are the kids? Are in their teens now, right? Yeah. Isn't that where they're at?
Yeah.
And they're still living with Wendi.
Well, Wendy's never been charged with anything, so why would they be anywhere else? I know. I completely, and that's and for all those years, that's the disturbing part of it, still with Wendi. And look how they were so isolated then from Dan's parents, and Dan's family. That was a choice. That wasn't murder that took that away. That was narcissistic Wendi that That was a very narcissistic, self-centered move on the part of Wendi to not allow that family to have access to their grandchildren. And I'm guessing Donna had a lot to do with it too. I'm guessing the whole pressure of the family and just the enmeshment of this is the right thing to do. We don't want to do. It's insane. It's another example, I would say, of Wendi not being a grown-up, not being capable of being a grown-up when it comes to the emotional health of anyone. Clearly, she ain't good at herself. And if you're not good at managing that for yourself, you're not going to be good at managing it or helping it for anyone else, including growing human beings in your custody. So I feel horrible for those kids. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what the best answer is. I don't know where those kids would have gone. Probably to the Markels, I think would have been a better option.
Right.
Maybe an aunt or an uncle, or maybe even grandma and grandpa over there to be raised. But no, they ended up over there. But that's how our system is so screwed up. Your whole family can be a group of murderers, but if the mom or the dad isn't the murderer, but everyone else is plotting, guess what? The kids get to stay with the murderer's family.
Well, but it is what they know. They know
it is.
mom. So they've already lost dad and, uncle. So maybe a little stability, even as crazy as it sounds, is what they were shooting for. No pun intended. I'm sorry.
That's what the system shoots for without any sort of recognition or understanding of mental health. Our system takes zero consideration of mental health into consideration with any of this shit. It's more so, are they a direct danger to your physical well-being?
Right.
Nothing. Are they direct danger to your mental health? We don't care about that.
Yeah.
Well, even physical well-being. I mean, it's possible that she was involved with a murder, for Christ's sakes. And also, can you imagine being a child and knowing this about other people in the family and what's been said in court about your mom, and going to bed every night knowing that person's in a room just down the hall from you?
Yeah. So I was saying yesterday, it's like the system takes none of that into account at all.
Right.
And clearly Wendi didn't either. But I get, but then it goes back to, look, if Wendi had nothing to do with this, because we don't know, and I'm not saying she did, we just don't know. If she had nothing to do with this, then, they're in the right place. Are they with someone, in my opinion, who's equipped to be a healthy mother to those children? Absolutely not. But that's a lot of kids. There's plenty of children who are in far more physically dangerous situations than that. I don't feel like those kids really are in any danger with Wendi, other than mental health issues, and not being able to process things in a healthy way to get a grip on who they are, where they're from. That's going to be a lifelong battle for them. And unfortunately, that's where it sits. And the really sad and scary part about this is, if Wendi does get charged, if she's taken away, there's their little lifeline. There's their little bit of stability. And I'm sure she loves her children in her own way, of what she defines as love, because I don't think it's the definition a lot of us have. And those kids, who knows? I mean, they're being brought up in this. They may think the Markels are horrible. I'd have no idea. All complete speculation. But at the end of the day, unless those kids are able to kind of get a nice healthy dose of reality, and maybe they will when they turn 18, they get out, they're like, all right. The odds of them being destined to repeat this cycle, not of murder, but of this personality type, very high. Regardless, it's going to be very high. So I truly hope, and I always say in situations like this, when you have just such toxic surroundings, that I truly hope that they're able to find some sort of direction, some sort of peace, some sort of identity outside of all of this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just going to keep plaguing them. Anyway, all complete conjecture. Wendi's never been charged with anything. She maintains her innocence. So we're just discussing, and we'll see where this all goes. Let's go to that, some of those clips. Let's watch the last part of this. This is Jeff Lacasse in the trial of Charlie Adelson, giving his account of everything he witnessed in his relationship with Wendi. Let's continue.
Mr. Lacasse, when we broke, we were discussing a statement made to you by Wendi Adelson on July 13th, 2014 at her residence here in Tallahassee. Do you recall which statement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what was that statement?
After asking to speak to me confidentially, she told me that last summer that Charles Adelson had looked into all possible options to take care of the Dan Markel problem, including hiring a hitman, and that it would cost about $15,000. I revised the amount. I said potentially that could have been $50,000. I'm unsure of the amount. The rest of the statement, very confidential.
So you weren't sure whether she said 15 or 50.
Right.
But she didn't say 15 or 50. She said one of these.
She said one number that I thought was 15 when I directed TPD, and I thought that could have been 50.
Okay, I'm with you. And this statement was made in what context? What was her demeanor?
Well, she has to speak to me confidentially. She was dead serious about it. It was a chilling statement. I had a reaction to it. My stomach flipped. Well, scary and weird. So it was a very serious statement she's making.
So clearly not a joke.
No, it was not a joke. There are other jokes in that domain. This was completely distinct and discreet from any joke. This was not funny.
And this statement was made within 5 days of Mr. Markel's murder by a hitman.
That's correct.
Jesus.
And was this said in any way in the context of the relocation issue?
Well, what preceded her saying that was a discussion of under what circumstances could she or would she leave Tallahassee? And she stated that the only way to leave Tallahassee was if something happened to Danny. That's what led into the statement I just...
Okay. Thank you. That's the proper, Your Honor.
The cross-examination concerned the subject of the phony.
Who's that?
In the cross-examination as to the subject of the proffer.
John.
Go ahead.
The statement was chilling and serious, right?
Yes.
Did you go to the police?
I did not.
You were so scared about the statement that you alerted the police the next day, that night.
I did not.
Why not?
Because it was a past tense statement, and I thought Charlie was a scary guy, but it was about something supposedly he did last summer. I did not know there was a present case, a present instant threat. I did not know him and he visited Tallahassee. I didn't have the context.
So the statement comes out and you say, all right, now go call the police. Hey, Wendi, you want to go out tomorrow?
That's not quite how it went.
No, you didn't try to go on a date with her the next day?
No, we did go on a date the next day, and then she cut off all contact without really talking to me on that date. So I didn't have a lot of time to process it, but it was a shocking enough thing that took a day or two to process. Also, I had repeated that statement to a friend of mine before the murder, and I didn't get a reaction from her. Like, this is shocking. I saw feedback from a friend who would verify that I made that statement before the murder, and she didn't say, oh, geez, you should call the police. So it wasn't just me. There was another person that I consulted with because it freaked me out. And we decided I decided after talking to her, it was past tense. So probably not that dangerous. So we were really wrong. Maybe I should have called the police.
So Charlie Adelson lets you know that he's has friends in the criminal element, the Cuban criminal element, right?
Yes.
And you know that there's a heated dispute between this family. You testified to it today. Heated dispute.
Yes.
About relocation, about divorce.
Well, it's just no longer about relocation. But yes, there's an ongoing litigation for sure.
Right. And then Wendi Adelson tells you that this man who is part of the criminal element really looked into hiring a hitman.
She did say that.
And you thought, I'm not going to go to the police on that. That's your testimony, right?
That's the decision I made. It didn't really cross my mind because of the past tense nature of it. And I consulted with the friend, bounced it off of her before the murder. And neither one of us thought, oh, geez, let's call the police. So it's possible that probably is so dangerous that I should have called the police. Yeah, but I did not.
And so at this point in time, your relationship with Wendi Adelson was really bad, right?
It was hard to tell.
Was it tell that it was really bad?
It was a roller coaster ride constantly because you referred to the next night, the next day, the 14th. On the 14th, I got a warm, inviting call from Wendi Adelson, eager to spend time with me. Maybe trying to distract me, I don't know. But
well, we're going to get to the distracting part.
Yeah.
because that's what this is all about.
But it wasn't in a great, the relationship was not in a great spot. I'll concede that to you.
So
Yes.
your testimony is that when this woman is about to break up with you, when she is avoiding you, when you have just been caught going through her phone and her...
How's she avoiding me?
I'm going to ask work, please.
Yes, sir.
Your testimony that when you are on the outs with her, which the record will show you were during this time period, that she confides in you the most serious, the most important thing in her life. That's your testimony, yes or no?
Yes. She has a history of boarding out things that aren't in her own self-interest.
Judge, I would ask that to be stricken for the record. It's unresponsive.
This is years to follow where here's the end of the call.
That by law.
In files. Or actually, this type of level, the court's ruling remains the same. You're not to inquire further as to the subject matter. We will revisit later if it comes to it. Please bring back in the witness, or at least he's with the jurors.
Let's pause there for a second. So what was going on right there, it's called proffer, where they were discussing whether or not this could be presented in front of the jury. If you remember yesterday when we broke, the jury had left. There was objection of could this conversation be had in front of the jury because it was kind of up in the air. So that's what they were trying to decide of those specific points that were being made, whether or not it could be brought up, if he should have called the police or not. So what if he did call the police? It was a conversation he was having with his girlfriend, and she says that her brother looked at all options, including that. As of that time, he had no knowledge that they actually went through with it. It sounded like it was more of a, he's looking into all these, or he looked into all these other options last summer because this conversation took place before the murder itself. If he called the police, I don't know what response you're going to get, quite honestly. Some might go, well, they would investigate that. They look into that. They start digging and they'd find it all. Yeah, or they'd tell you, thanks for calling. Have a nice day. Based on how busy they are at that moment in time. I don't know that you're going to get a lot out of that. And I think we've seen it in different cases where they've been alerted about different things. You're going to get different response from different departments. What do you think?
I'm trying to use it from our own lens. Like, what if, Todd, I'm going to throw you under the bus for a second.
Oh, great.
Buckle up, baby.
Thanks.
I gave you warning. But what if you were sitting here talking with us before we went live about, say, a girlfriend and talking about her ex-husband, and you said, yeah, we're going to kill this fucker. I don't know what could we do? What could we do about it? You just said it.
There's a difference between saying we're going to kill this fucker. That's like an intent. We're going to do this. This is, he looked into all options. It's like there's many options on the wheel and didn't settle on it. If she was saying, he looked into a hitman and hired one, you got more of then you'd be calling 911.
But it does feel odd to look into these options. I mean, you look into options when you're going on vacation. Should we fly there? Should we drive? Those are options, not killing somebody.
You're exactly right. But how deep did he look into it, I guess? Because you're naturally going to, I would think, probably hope the best. I mean, if you're in a relationship, you know these people, you're probably not thinking that they actually, talked to a hitman. You're probably going to, well, maybe did they Google this? Like, what does it cost to get a hitman? Like on a surface type, at least that's how my mind would be probably going, unless I felt there was something deeper and darker going on. Obviously, he found out later there was something deeper and darker going on. But at the same point, you have your own self-preservation to be concerned with at that moment in time, too. If you're dealing with people who are chatting about a hitman, and now you have knowledge of this, I don't think that's information you'd necessarily want to have. And I don't think Wendi is above telling Charlie, oh, by the way, I told my boyfriend you looked into a hitman. I don't think you'd want to ruffle a lot of feathers at that moment in time, because I don't think the police are going to do a whole hell of a lot until one of you is dead.
So I've got just a little bit of a personal story that will kind of tie into why I answer what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
So I had a murder in my family. My uncle murdered my aunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just a nasty individual. I'm sorry, this guy was abusive, not only to his wife, but to his kids. And we all knew the guy was a little unsafe. We knew it. A lot of things in time, over time, had played into that decision. If he would have said to one of us, hey, if she decides she's going to leave me, I'm going to kill her. Because we know all of the background, at that particular moment, we may have stepped up and called the cops.
Do you think they would have done anything?
Well, because there had been prior stuff going on where they had been called out for other reasons and stuff like that, maybe. But I don't think it would have been much more than stopping out and going, hey, what's going on here, you guys? This has got to stop. You know, I don't think that, I don't know that they would have been able to do much. But even with our background and the knowledge of what this guy really was like, I don't know if we would necessarily pick up the phone and call the cops because this was such a long-term thing with him. So I guess for part of me is like, well, that's an interesting conversation, Jeff. Maybe you should have called the cops. But on the other hand, maybe you wouldn't because you don't think it's going to happen in your family. You think this guy's a nasty mother. But you don't think somebody in your family is going to actually go through with something like that.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially if you're on the outside. If you're in the family, you might think, yeah, they're going to do this.
Right.
But if you're the boyfriend, you're going, you know what? This family's crazy, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah. You're not going to the extreme.
Right.
Typically. And even if you did go to the extreme, yes, I mean, it certainly stands out to most of us to be like, well, that's really like, we don't, I don't think most of us are in situations where we've had partners that are threatening to kill us. I mean, well, take that back.
Beep, beep,
Let me back that up. Well, when it does happen, you end. But if you, I think when you're in that moment, when you're in that situation, it certainly stands out to you who's in it. But to the cops, they hear this shit every day.
We just got a comment. It's easier to see it from the outside than when you're in it. You know, and we can look back at this.
Yeah.
Now there was a murder. We can look at all the evidence that's come out. We can say, oh, you should have called the cops. At that particular moment, he didn't really think twice about it. He thought it was odd. He thought it was a little over the top, but to call the cops on, you know, your girlfriend's brother, I don't know.
Well, and again, I think the cops are, I mean, how many situations do they walk into on a daily basis, domestic disturbances, where I'm going to effing kill her, or I'm going to kill him, or whichever way it goes. And okay, well, it seems like you need to go cool down. You go over, here, you go over there, you got to be in separate places for a little bit, and they wash their hands of it, and that's the end of it. There's not a lot that gets done. And I don't know that they're necessarily going to immediately open up a in-depth police investigation into, did he actually look into a hitman? Maybe I'm wrong, but, and maybe I just have really shitty expectations because I've seen too many cases where all the red flags are there, see something, say something is happening, and absolutely nothing happens. And I'm not blaming, the cops. I'm blaming the system. It's set up to work the way it works, and it doesn't work well. But that's just how our system is set up. So if we want to change it, there needs to be institutional changes to get to where we want it to be. But I just don't know where it would have gone. And I think I don't fault Jeff for not calling that. I think it was a logical choice at that moment in time. Now that we know the full scope of everything, we see how deep that iceberg is over here, and it's not just this little chunk above the water. Like, oh, holy shit, you should have been more aware of that. But how could you be if you don't fully understand and grasp the depth of the depravity of this family?
And also, if Wendi herself, who may not have known anything was going on behind the scenes, if she felt like there was something there, maybe she should have picked up the phone and called.
Yes.
Right. But she's claiming she didn't know any of this stuff, and maybe she didn't. But if she doesn't, why would Jeff pick up the phone?
Good point. If it's not so severe that the very person who's bringing you this information is not contacting the police, and it is the father of her children, she should be the first one to pick up the phone and call. If she gives a shit
right
about the life of the man that her kids call dad. Clearly, that ain't happening. I don't think she gave a shit about his life, whether she had anything to do with this or not. The fact that she sat there and did nothing very much says, it happens, it happens. I mean, that's the attitude. That's what you are essentially saying by not doing anything about it. If you truly think that your family is capable of this, and judging by her anxiety and everything else, she certainly demonstrated and presented that, at least her body did, emotionally, viscerally, her body knew her family was capable of this shit. Whether her mind was willing to accept that and move and take the action that it should, that's a different story. But one part of her certainly seemed to know her family has the ability to do this, and obviously did.
This broadcast brought to you by Pepto-Bismol.
Right?
Yes.
Pepto-Bismol.
Or when your family is going to kill your husband and you feel bad about it.
Pepto-Bismol. Try it now at a 2-for-1 special at Rite Aid, Osco Drug, and Kmart. Kmart has great sales this week. Have you seen the Kmart sales this week?
I have not, no.
Holy shit, they're off the charts. Kmart.
Are they still in business?
No, they're not.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought they were gone.
I think there's a website. I think it's a website. I've gone to it just out of curiosity. I think it like links to like Amazon links and stuff. It's sad.
The only thing that's still around from Kmart is their in-store music that you can find on YouTube and stuff like that, which I will sometimes throw on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will turn that on sometimes.
Especially around the holidays. They got the Christmas music and the in-store announcements. Oh, yeah, it's great.
The Kmart,
the hell made recordings of this?
Probably people like me and Todd if we had access to the cassette tapes.
I work with such geeks. I love it.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Because they were on cassette tapes. The Kmart radio network was cassette tapes, and they got new ones every month, and they just played them throughout the store. And they're great. And they like, if you want to really brighten up her holiday, be sure to check out the jewelry section at Kmart. And then check out the sub sandwiches in the deli.
You guys are not kidding about this. This is real.
Not at all.
No.
Or a special on 2-for-1 wigs in the wig aisle. Just stuff like that.
The blue light special. Remember that, you guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, blue light special and the Kmart deli. The sub sandwiches of the Kmart deli. That's what I judge all subs by going forward, is the Kmart. Like, how does this stack up to the Kmart deli subs?
Oh, my God. There's seriously Kmart background music.
I told you.
Yes. And it's great. It's music. It's like, it's hit songs of the era. You're going to hear like Sailing on there. You probably get a little Patti LaBelle, maybe get some Dionne Warwick in there and all sorts of Carpenters. It's great. It's great background music. I turn it on when I'm working all the time.
We did, just to get back onto the topic, we did get a message. At least he should have told Dan, if not the police. Now, I don't know what kind of relationship he had with Dan, but, maybe that does warrant a pickup of the phone. I don't know.
I tell you what, if I'm in this situation and I know, and you're wondering about this, and he has a little bit of knowledge of, kind of how Charlie is, and he's friends with folks on the other side of the track and all that shit, I don't think I want Charlie to know that I have this knowledge. I don't. Because I think you are on that hit list. If someone's bragging about the potential that their brother's going to kill somebody, and you have knowledge that could incarcerate him, you're next. You are next. And that would have to go through Jeff's mind. It seems like he ruminates on a lot of things, and I'm guessing that might have been one of those thoughts that went through his mind.
Yeah, I think you're right.
On all, I saw another comment where Jeff might be pretty smart, but really stupid. But Jeff stayed with her after that. He seems kind of gooberish to me.
Yep.
I'll give him that. Yeah, I agree. I mean, here's what I'd be curious about with Jeff, if we're going to go down the psychological route on him. I wonder what his upbringing was like. I wonder what Jeff's mom was like. I have no idea. Maybe she could be a completely wonderful, wonderful woman. Or could be a lot like the Adelsons. If he's attracted to this type of chaos and chose to stay in this type of chaos with her for as long as he did. Now, I know it was, he thought she was hot and all that. And yes, that can certainly keep someone in a situation longer than they should because they're not thinking with their brain. But so can trauma responses, and so can conditioning and feeling normal, feeling safe, feeling at home amongst the chaos, because it represents, and in your mind, well, this feels like home because you've been around it for a long time. So whether it's his family or whatnot, but I would venture to guess there's been an unhealthy level of chaos surrounding Jeff Lacasse at previous portions of his life, that he felt that there wasn't enough reason to get out of that relationship at a sooner date. That's just my guess. I have no idea, but it would explain that it does go beyond just, I found her hot. I think there's a level of something like that at play there too. I don't know.
Wanted to fix her. I don't know. Something, something.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
A Kmart doctor.
A Kmart doctor.
The blue light special doctor.
I'm the blue light special doctor. I'm listening. Okay, let's keep listening to more of this.
There is the celebration dinner.
And one day is the girls. Although the celebration dinner will grow.
And the cherry.
Boy, it was just in third segment to do the same if anybody's wanted.
All right, Dreed.
One minute.
Okay.
Nobody's talking into their
Where
mics.
the celebration dinner covered in your Norton?
In that same person eliminated dog walk out the statements being several. The first one was the statement that we just discussed, and the second one is that Charlie Adelson that he went to dinner with. That she told him that Charlie Adelson said it was a celebration dinner.
However,
they're
this
discussing-
statement is being directly attributed to your client that is heard by the witness.
No,
Mr. Lacasse, please step down again.
believing that when Adelson told him what Charlie Adelson said.
Compliment or respond.
Yes, sir. I asked Miss Adelson about the dinner. She acknowledged there was a dinner. She did vomit at the dinner table, but denied calling it a celebration dinner or hearing Charlie Adelson call it a celebration dinner. I anticipate this witness would indicate that it was referred to as a celebration dinner.
The trash ground.
It's the celebration. He rolled on the sushi. It's the same motion money.
How? Not looking at one now. Right, Miss Compliment, I believe, is find ourselves in the same position unless you have the argument which differentiates the television from the celebration dinner.
I think I understand what you mean, Judge. I don't have any additional argument other than this is offered for impeachment. It's not hearsay, not covered by the motion. The appropriate grounds were laid, and it's admissible as impeachment.
Do you wish to proffer the celebration dinner by Mr. Lacasse as well?
No, sir. I think my preference at this point, assuming your ruling will be the same on the celebration dinner, is to have Mr. Lacasse step off the stand, proceed with another witness, and revisit this issue after the lunch break.
Very well. Please bring the jurors back down. You may end your examination in front of them, and then Mr. Rauschbaum will have his opportunity. Well, actually, Mr. Rauschbaum, how long do you believe your cross-examination of the witness would take?
I'm a little
In front of the jurors.
confused. Are you?
The ruling is the impeachment as the celebration dinner is going to be excluded on the same grounds for now. If we need to revisit later, we will, but as to your cross-examination, that will be taking place in front of the jurors on a subject matter that's already been covered. How long do you think that's going to take?
Oh, she can stop asking questions of this way.
By the way, she just indicated she would.
Okay. For the issues that we've dealt with just now?
Prior to any proffers and sending the jurors.
Yeah. I'm not really too long. Probably, maybe 30 minutes.
Right, let's bring them back in. You can start your cross. We'll take the lunch break and then pick up from there. Please bring back in the witness. Everyone can be seated. Bailiff, if you can please instruct Mr. Lacasse to come back in. It's good to have an further direct examination for this witness. You may cross-examine him.
Thank you, Your Honor. Professor Lacasse, good morning.
Good morning.
You met Charlie Adelson one time, right?
That's correct.
There was a trip that you and Wendi took down to South Florida for a day after a spring break with kids that she taught.
Yeah, we were in Motta, and then we went over to Miami, or to Fort Lauderdale and Miami, just for the 11th. That's right.
And you had dinner, you said you had dinner on March 11th, 2014 at a place called Yardbird.
That's correct.
You recall Charlie was in his scrubs?
Don't recall that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
And Catherine Medbanoa was at that dinner, right?
She was.
And I think you said that she was bringing up stuff about her ex, right?
Not a lot, just a little bit, but she did bring that up, and I recalled it.
Is it fair to say that she was pushing for information
From who?
from Miss Adelson?
I don't recall that.
Well, was she trying to get Miss Adelson to talk about her ex-husband?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall there being a lot of discussion at the dinner about Professor Markel?
Don't recall a lot. It always came up for a minute. It came up in the context of Wendi Adelson's book. Most of it was Charlie talking.
You recall Katie asking questions about how the divorce was going, how he was treating her, where he was. You don't recall any of that happening at the dinner?
I do not recall any of that.
The only thing you recall is her saying something about her ex-husband.
That's what stuck out. We've had previous legal proceedings where I also could not remember. Yeah, I can't. It's a dinner 9 years ago. I don't remember a lot of detail of it. It wasn't long either. It was just an hour.
Isn't it likely that she was talking about her ex-husband, her problems, because there was talk about exes?
I mean, that's pure speculation on my part. I don't recall. I do recall some other things we spoke about, but I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about them or not. They involved her client. They were, so I'm in my head trying to figure out how much space was there for other stuff. As I previously testified, most of it was Charlie telling us stories, kind of.
But Katie was clearly wanting to bring up the topic, as you said, about her family situation.
Well, I'm talking about 2 or 3 sentences here. I only recalled that in retrospect because there was a murder. I thought, oh, geez.
And it was important enough for you for Miss Kappelman to ask you about that, right?
Okay.
Right. So you remember her talking about her family situation.
Yeah, I also remember Charlie talking about a party he'd recently attended. There's a few other random things.
Fair enough. But yeah, I didn't ask, with all due respect, I didn't ask you technically. So stick with the family situation.
Okay.
So Catherine McBanoa was talking about her family situation, correct?
For 2 or 3 sentences, she mentioned that Sifredo Garcia, not by name, and the tensions with him. Yes.
You say that Charlie talked in the hot tub or the pool about having connections to the criminal element. That's what your testimony was, right?
Yes. Starting with my initial statement to TPD. Yes, sir.
And you're talking about your statement to TPD after the murder, right?
3 days after the murder.
And after you thought Wendi Adelson was trying to frame you for the murder, right?
I didn't think that in that interview. It took me some time to process.
You're aware that you were called in as a suspect for the murder, right?
Yes.
Okay. And after that point in time is when you gave that statement to TPD regarding what Mr. Adelson said. Just yes or no?
After I was called into the police station. Yeah, that's when I gave my statement at the police station.
Right. What I'm making clear is, it's not like you had dinner and were in the hot tub with Charlie Adelson and you went back to Tallahassee and gave the statement then, right?
No, I'm going to have no reason to do that.
I understand that, Professor Lacasse. I'm just trying to make it clear to the jury when you gave TPD this statement. And the answer is you gave him the statement after the murder and after you were called in as a suspect on that murder.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, do you recall texting Charlie Adelson after you met with him?
I texted Mr. Adelson one time, yes.
Okay. And do you recall saying to him, "Hey, Charlie, it's Jeff," as in Wendi and Jeff. Hey man, thanks for your hospitality the other night. Sorry about the clusterfuck with the cab. It was great to finally meet you. I can tell how proud you are of your sister. I am too. She's really one in a million. Take care, dude, and look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. Do you recall texting him that?
I do recall texting him that.
Okay. You like hanging out with the criminal element?
It was my new girlfriend's brother who she was very close with. I didn't do anyone seriously for 12 days. I didn't think it was right to give a... I was polite rather than honest, let's put it that way. I mean...
Let me ask the question again. Do you like hanging out with the criminal element?
No, I don't do that.
Did Charlie Adelson text you, or did you text him?
I texted him. I can't remember if that was solicited by Wendi Adelson or not, but I texted him.
It wasn't solicited by Charlie Adelson, right?
No, we never spoke again, though.
Actually, he texted you back.
Right, I never answered.
And he said, it was great seeing you. I'm glad you made your flight. Hopefully we can all hang out soon. You testified that Wendi was a wreck. Hold on 1 second, sorry. One moment, you're on. I've lost my twitch. You testified about some of these divorce filings on direct, correct?
Yes.
And about Wendi, you testified that Wendi was a wreck about him, right?
Yes.
That's not what you thought in the spring of 2014, though, was it?
You're questioning whether... Here's what I thought in the spring of 2014. I noticed repeatedly her reacting to motions and litigation and getting very, very upset. I'm not saying there was never any good times, but she was very upset when you filed something.
Do you recall sending an email to Wendi Adelson in March 27th of 2014 where you tell her that she's adapting really well to unpleasant circumstances and that she needs to give herself more credit?
That sounds familiar. I would say it got increasingly worse March, April, May, June in terms of reactions to the entire situation. But I know I was sending an email, yes, trying to encourage my girlfriend at the time, yes.
So really, it got worse. Filings in March, April, and June.
No, I don't know when the last filing was. Her reactions, not just to filings, but the entire situation. Let me clarify. So.
Hold on. Okay. Would it surprise you that there weren't any filings?
No,
in May or June?
No, I'm aware of that.
Would it surprise you that there's been testimony in this courtroom that actually things got a little better?
Wendy's status didn't get better. My observation is that Wendi saw her spiraling downward in that time period is what I was trying to refer to.
Do you recall that in the spring, summer of 2014, Professor Markel asked Wendy's parents to babysit for him?
I didn't know about that, or I don't recall it if I did.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, wow. I could not be on the stand.
Do you recall
They
telling
should have
law
objected to
enforcement
that, where
your
he's,
impression was that
telling him
Professor
what he
Markel's
thinks.
Wonder why they didn't.
filing was going to fail?
Yes, I was repeating things I'd heard from Wendi Adelson. So most of that content, that was...
Sir, I'm just asking you for a yes or no request.
Okay.
Let me follow up of where you get that information.
Okay.
I know you have an...
Yes, I told police though. Yes.
So, you told the police that Wendi wasn't concerned about Professor Markel succeeding.
No, not motion. No, she was highly anxious. She was highly anxious.
Did she think that the motion was going to be granted?
I don't think she knew. I think that's what caused the anxiety.
Didn't you tell law enforcement that your impression was that Professor Markel's motion was going to fail?
I did tell law enforcement that, yes.
And didn't you just tell the jury that that impression came from Wendi Adelson?
Well, from my interactions with her and partially my own opinion to clarify. But yes, that's true. Yeah.
You also told law enforcement that everyone in the legal community agreed with that assessment.
I didn't speak to everyone in the legal community.
Well, let's read your interview then. And let's see if it refreshes your recollection. You'll probably recorded There you said, and I quote, everyone in the legal community agreed with that assessment. At 2 o'clock on 7/23/14, interview part 1, at 34:35 in the interview. You don't recall saying that? Can you give me the date of the interview again, please? 7/23/2014, interview part 1, and 3/6/2015, you reiterated it at 34 minutes and 35 seconds into the recording. You don't recall saying that?
Vaguely, I do recall saying something like that. I'm a non-lawyer trying to figure out this situation. Getting different messages from different people.
I have no further questions right now, Your Honors.
At the time you were in the hot tub with the defendant, did you know that he was a criminal element? Okay, let me rephrase that. Did you know he was conspiring to commit the murder of Dan Markel?
I had no idea.
All right, and when you were at dinner with Heat and Catherine McVanoa, did you know that she was conspiring to commit the murder of Dan Markel?
Well, no idea.
So you didn't know when you were in the hot tub that you were hanging out with a criminal element in that regard?
No.
All right, let's pause it there.
I would not do well on the stand.
That's exactly what I had in my notes too, where his attorney said criminal element. You're like hanging with are you insinuating your client is a criminal element, the very man you're trying to get off here as not being part of a criminal element, you dipshit. It felt like quite an overstep there by the attorney of Charlie. And we're not discussing Charlie, but I did think that was an interesting piece of wording to use while you're representing someone that you're trying to make a jury think is not criminal element.
All I could see in my mind is Tom Cruise screaming at Jack Nicholson going, "Did you order the code red?"
Yeah, it's like, right. I ordered the code red.
Come on.
Yeah.
He was, Jeffrey wasn't on trial.
No, but it's distract. It's a lot of the Adelson trials have been a lot of look over here, look over there, and everything but right here, and confuse. That was really the strategy they had because there really wasn't a lot of other ways around it. But there you go. That's the Adelsons. That's the Jeffrey Lacasse testimony from the trial of Charlie Adelson.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.